Welcome, window lickers, any grunts, friends, chaos goblins, and any IYH household members. We are glad to see your bright, beautiful face here on a Monday night where we discuss our favorite thing. And when you get us three together, that's Monday Night Raw. Well, I mean, let's pull the curtain back. It's not our favorite thing to talk about. We just get along and we put a show together. I'm pretty sure if you put all three of us in a room, Raw might be the last thing we talk about.
Maybe.
You never know.
Yeah.
Well, in fairness, I think it's just because we talk about it a lot week to week.
Yeah.
I don't think it'd be
That's
our first
true.
topic just because of that. Now,
No.
if
No.
we were friends based on wrestling, it's almost like we are, except we have a platform to talk about it with.
Exactly.
Then we might be.
That's true. I mean, we do all have a collective of things that we do enjoy together: music, movies, and video games. Speaking of that, you guys will see what I just did there. Kevin,
That's called a lead-in.
that's called a lead-in. Everybody out there who wants to do a podcast like old Bischoff and Hogan. So let's just throw it out there. We're giving the floor to Kevin. Kevin, let us know what you want to talk about before we get into wrestling.
All right. Realistically, if we're going to talk video games, there's really only one to talk about that came out over the weekend, the last week. Probably the last couple of weeks. And that is a game that came out of nowhere for a lot of people. And it's a game called Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Now, I'm actually not even comfortable talking about what the game's about
Ooh,
because it spoils too much.
okay.
Really?
If you get any I stand on this business. If you get any description about Clair Obscur before you play it, something has been spoiled.
Oh, that's no fun.
I know.
So it's more than just
But what I can tell you, it's based in Belle Epoque France. Do you guys know what that is? I had to look it up myself. It's the beautiful Renaissance period of France.
Oh,
So
okay.
like the 1800s, like more way back France.
Gotcha.
Turn of the century. That's a good way to put it. Thank you, Annie, from off screen. Turn of the century France, where all of these like awesome artworks were being made, like fancy looking clothes, all of those things. And except you're kind of in a dystopian area. Actually, I'll share this point. Because I think this is generally decently obvious. It's a post-apocalyptic world because there's someone called the Paintress. And when the Paintress goes to her stone, she writes a number. And when she writes a number, the gommage happens. And when the gommage happens, whoever is that age gets Thanos'd away. They die. So they send expeditions out to try and stop the Paintress. They're on 33. They started at 100.
Oh, shit.
So they've had 66 failed expeditions before this one. Sorry, 67 actually. 67 failed expeditions. And the whole point of them is that they continue and they're laying the groundwork by sacrificing themselves and learning more and setting up more things so that the next expedition can get further and further and further. Until that brings us to Expedition 33, which who knows what happens with that one because I haven't finished the game.
This sounds wild.
And there is a reason. This is another point to bring up that's not about the game other than its review scores. In the first weekend, and I haven't checked recently, but I'm pretty sure it stayed here. In the first weekend, it is one of the highest rated games of all time.
Ooh.
I saw that.
Not this year, not in 2020s, of all time.
Oh, that's insane. And it's only been out for a weekend.
3 days.
Barely long enough to get the world's attention.
And
Like,
Nick,
you
we
would
see you
think
in the
it
chat.
wouldn't.
We will get to you real quick.
Yes.
We're giving Kevin this moment because he was really excited about
I'm
this
so
game.
excited about this game. I'm excited to play more. It's very somber tones. It's very nihilistic, but at the same time giving you hope when you need it. The story is one of the best stories I've seen in a JRPG, and I play a lot of JRPGs. I think in the last, probably since Final Fantasy X.
No kidding.
And Final Fantasy X came out in like mid 2000s.
That's insane. That is insane. Yeah, I've been, like I said, I've been seeing Game Pass is shoving it down my throat.
Game Pass, this was one of the big selling points for Game Pass for the last weekend, I think. They got a shit ton of subscribers on this alone.
Oh, they had
I'd love to see the metric, but I'm never going to see it, I'm sure.
Dude, they were, that was wild, that the explanation you gave into it, because it kind of like, you pulled me in when you're talking about it gives you hope when you need it. And it's like, oh shit, I love games like that, because that's fun to me. That keeps you on the edge. And like I said, Nick, we'll get into your questions about GTA.
I apologize for taking up the time, but
no,
gush about this game more. So it's turn-based combat, just like Final Fantasy has been.
Okay.
And during that turn-based combat, though, have either of you played like a Paper Mario or anything like that?
No. I played it for a little bit. I didn't get into it.
So it's active combat.
Okay.
So when you go and attack, you have to press like QTEs or like the X button to make it more effective or to get extra effects. But the kicker is that there's also a dodge system when they are attacking you and a parry system during a turn-based combat game. I'm playing on expert difficulty. These boys can two-shot me, regular enemies. If you don't get your parries and your dodges down, it feels like fucking Dark Souls while you're playing a turn-based RPG.
Man, I love it. And we got the Lou in the chat. He's chiming in. Well, he chimed in too much. Turn-based is not my jam, but the game is gorgeous.
Amazing.
Love him some Game Pass.
Oh, yeah.
And fans, we got a new thing. When you see Lou enter the chat, there's a good possibility you're also gonna see.
Amen. He appears. I believe
in Dave Dingle.
I believe
in Dave Dingle.
'Cause you love him in London and Paris and Tokyo, America, Scotland and Canada and Mexico.
And you fans, you say, why? Yes, why would you put a fantastic clip from another man's show here on Twitch? Well, that's because he's part of the BCW Buddies Championship Wrestling. That's a great thing done by the Lou. Go check him out. Dave Dingle has become Grun's arch enemy in
yes, Dave Dingle is gonna stop breathing when I'm done with it at Buddy Mania.
So Dave Dingle, that's we just want you to know that we got you on our channel too, buddy, and we will keep at you, buddy. Grun is gonna snap. Yes, this is true.
I snapped 3 months ago.
Oh, and we got Punks chiming in. Dave, Brucey's here. See, those guys, they know exactly what it is. Nick's loving it. Speaking of Nick, Lou is saying F Dingle. Yeah, and you know what? That is a good way to introduce Dingle, F Dingle. Truly, you'll get to know him. You'll get to hate him, just like us. But there was a question in here, guys, and I know that this is a popular question among gamers because it's been like the Ark, finding the lost Ark. It's been like finding the Holy Grail, and that is the next Grand Theft Auto. So Nick was asking if we like GTA and what are our thoughts, and I assume that's on the upcoming game whenever they decide to release it.
I like Grand Theft Auto. I'd never played Grand Theft Auto 5. I'll start there. But I did play a lot of Grand Theft Autos prior to that. I've always enjoyed them. But at some point, I struggle with super open games because I am ADHD as hell. So because of that, I just start messing around or doing whatever, and it takes me like triple the time to finish the game. And by the time triple the time finish the game comes along with a huge game like GTA, I tend to get bored of it. Or more likely, something else has come out.
No, I understand that sentiment on this. That actually makes a lot of sense and aligns with me too. When I didn't have a job, GTA was life and that was
Bingo.
fun. But once I got responsibilities and had to pay bills, I was like, well, I guess I can't go to the gym now. I can't go and pump some iron on my my character. But yeah, I do love the game though. I love an open world game. Honestly, open world games to me are definitely a next level escape when it comes to video games. And
You can immerse
sometimes
yourself in them.
exactly. And for me, and I'm gonna say it, Far Cry is my favorite one to get immersed in. I love and Fallout. I can in those two worlds, I could sit and play for hours upon hours. Grun, what's your thoughts on this?
So I got into my initial introduction to GTA was the knockoff Saints Row 2. And
Oh, I
needless
like
to
Saints
say-
Row too.
it was good up until the remake. And
Yeah.
I gave the remake a shot. And my issues were more so that the monologue was that I chose for the voice I chose was just 2 curse words for 5 minutes straight. And that immediately took me out of it. So
Yeah.
crap. But GTA, I've played GTA 5 and like there's a lot to do and it's a very large map.
Mhm.
I personally think it is too much for me, but at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and tell people don't buy the game. It's like, I don't know. A lot of people seem to like it. So I'm going to say I don't maybe not for me, but you know what? There are about 99 million people that are going to disagree with me.
Yeah.
Business is business.
Yeah,
Business
exactly.
is business. If
I don't need to
makes
like it. I
dollars,
just need to know it's going to sell.
Yeah.
exactly. Because if it makes dollars, it ain't gonna make sense.
Yeah.
So they found a market, and yeah, Nick, I know what you're saying. They got a lot of goddamn cars in the game that I
do.
would never get to drive either. I wish I could. There's some of them that I would just love to just hop on. Even some of the mopeds that they've had in Grand Theft Auto, I think would be fun. But that's because I'm a country boy. I've taken mopeds, I've taken 4-wheelers, I've taken a 3-wheeler. I will never ride a 3-wheeler in my life again. I don't want.
Really? It was that great.
Well, it's because you got to learn how to kick it into gear without it going too much, because that front is way lighter than a 4-wheeler. So yeah, I had redneck friends who like to soup things up. So there were certain things you just did not get on when they were fucking with them. But let's bring it back to the ring, the squared circle, as some say. And let's talk Monday Night Raw, guys. So first off, we had a fantastic WrestleMania. Fans, if you really want to get into that, we did a coverage of some of WrestleMania. I'm sure we're going to touch more on more of WrestleMania and what we liked and disliked. But we're here at Monday Night Raw. And I must say, I'm going to take lead on here, go with the first question, get it out of the way, because I feel you guys probably have more in depth this week. But my general question to you guys is, are we happy with the fallout of WrestleMania and where the puzzle pieces are aligning right now? Are you guys entertained with the product that is being presented as it is right now after the biggest event they've had?
Yes, I can definitely say that I'm definitely 100% entertained. I think we are what's next is Backlash, then we've got Money in the Bank and SummerSlam. Saudi Arabia, I think, is somewhere in between there too.
Yeah.
So we got a lot going on, and there are a lot of pieces in motions. Not exactly any fires starting, but you can see WWE. They are lining up the timber. They're getting it ready to really blow up.
I think so too. And let's hit Punk's right here, because this was his first WrestleMania.
Oh, that's awesome.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's awesome in itself. Punks, we would love to hear your thoughts on it. So let us know in the chat. But I would say directly to what you're saying here, so you don't know any of the story, this is a perfect point in wrestling if you're going to pick it up, because the
Oh, yeah.
stories are starting.
Yeah.
Yes, they have their main focal points of when they actually started, but now they're picking up momentum, and now you're going to be able to digest them. The Randy Orton John Cena story being told right now,
Mhm.
epic. I love it. We're getting we're getting Bizarro on worlds of both of them. They're in opposites. Kevin, let's hear what your thoughts are on your state of Raw right now, where you're liking it, what you're not, if anything.
I don't have a lot of complaints for Raw.
I don't
I
either.
thought so. Some of the things on Mania left you questioning a lot of things, and they answered pretty much every question with either an answer or an additional question.
Yeah.
And if you answer with an additional question where you give us something, but then it's like, oh shit, what's this wrinkle? Like, that's great storytelling because it keeps you coming back. You can't, if you just answer the question, I don't have to tune in the next week. But if you give me something that it's going to overarch, you know, like not to step on any toes, but the Seth Rollins Braun Breaker thing at the end is like, oh shit, what is this going to be now?
Yes.
And I think they answered a lot of those. Like, it was a perfect fallout to me. Was there a shit ton of surprises like maybe we're used to all the time? Maybe not, but there was enough surprises. And I would say
Yeah.
big, impactful surprises in that too.
Yeah, exactly. And Lou's chiming in. He says, I feel good about the fallout after Mania.
Mhm.
Old faces returned, exciting setups for future matches. I'm feeling pretty good about the overall move of WWE. And I agree with you there, Lou.
Mhm.
I just like posing this question because these two minds that I work with every Monday, they definitely know how to think and how to push the conversation. So that was my question to them, and both all three of us I think can agree there's not much you can really poke at WWE right now.
No, and
Nope.
you know what? I saw someone say this online, and I disagreed with it, but I thought I'd bring it up to the class.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
Oh, here we go. Hold on,
And
everybody.
it's relevant to what we're talking about. I saw someone say, "Is WrestleMania just a go-home show for the first Raw after Mania?" I vehemently disagreed with it.
Wait, what?
I see where they're trying to think from. I think it's coming from a point of hating WWE for whatever reason in their head. Or WrestleMania didn't go their way, their guy didn't win. But I tried to analyze that statement, and I'm like, how many questions did they ask at Mania? Like, how many things were left hanging? What's going to happen next? And I think there was a fair bit this Mania. So I could see if we're going to argue that point. Now, who the fuck said that indeed?
Yes.
If we're going to argue that point, I think the strongest argument was this year because they did ask a lot of questions. You know, Cena won the title. Oh, God, what happens next? Seth Rollins aligned with Paul Heyman. Oh, God, what happens next? Like, there were a couple of surprises during, like, the Karrion Kross thing. Like, that's a question.
Another one. Yeah.
So they left a lot hanging up in the air, I think. And it is a Mania that felt like it hung more up in the air to keep going. At the same time, it's definitely not a go-home show to the next Raw.
Yeah, I agree. Let me ask you real quick before we move on to the next question. Do you guys feel, though, exactly what you were saying there, Kevin? Past generations of WWE, I felt at some manias they left things up in the air because they didn't know how to continue the story. And I don't feel like we're getting that in this generation of manias. Again, punks, that's exactly why I'm saying this is a perfect moment to jump into it. And just like if you have Netflix tonight, they're going to go live at 8 right after we get done here, and continue more of the story. So definitely jump into that. But I don't feel that they do that anymore. Kevin and Grun, am I off in that? Did you guys ever feel that, especially after when Kevin is explaining things?
I think there's only one time that they don't really know how they're going to do it. And I think they sit down prior but it's when The Rock is involved.
Mhm.
This is not me throwing shade at The Rock. When he's involved, it tends to move a storyline to get us asked a lot of questions. So I am very thankful for that. But at the same time, I think Rock comes in very sporadically. So when they sit down with a creative team with The Rock to involve The Rock, I think sometimes they don't always know how long they're going to have him. So
Mm.
sometimes I think they're covering those bases until maybe Rock comes back or like this date becomes available for him or whatever, which is pretty common for someone who works like that. So I think that's the only thing, because every other thing it feels is very premeditated, like
Mhm.
incredibly premeditated. I don't see a lot of things where it's just like, well, we called an audible. No, they plan half of this stuff. They plan most of Mania out 6 months in advance, probably.
I guess the biggest one that sticks out to me is, do you remember the hardcore match? I believe it was between Kane, Raven, Big Show. It was featured.
It was a Mania match, right?
Yeah, it was a Mania match. But
Yeah.
that one,
Was it 18? No, it
I
wasn't
thi-
18. No, I
it-
think it was 17.
it was one of those two, and those are the two that are sticking out in my head. That it's either one of those two, but it's 17. Lose on it. So,
There you go.
to me, that was a fun match for me as a fan of Raven and seeing him in Mania, but it was one of those that kind of left like they just left it up in the air. It wasn't anything. There was nothing to remember about it, unless you were a fan of it, because we don't really talk about the hardcore matches that they had at Mania and things like that. And that was one of them. That was like
And that
supposed
was
to be
a
one of
fun
the
match.
biggest. Yeah,
And
it
you know
was.
what? I do remember that match. I remember it for 2 moments. 2 moments. One was when Kane threw Raven through a wall,
Yep.
through the drywall. That was
Yep.
fun. But the one that I remember it the most of is that match cut the pay-per-view feed for a second
Yeah.
because they killed the camera because they drove a golf cart over the court.
Yep. But you see, fans like us get that. We have
Right.
those moments, but your typical fan.
But you're right. You're right.
you know.
Typical fan. No, you're right.
Yeah. But I thought we would hit that up real quick.
Yeah.
And I like your guys' answers. So let's move on to the next one. Grun, why don't you take over? Because you're not paying attention in class, and that's what happens.
Damn. Well, I assure you that I am paying attention, because I am been paying attention to the Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez championship match against Becky and Lyra. So Becky and Lyra lost. Becky
Yep.
turns on Lyra, both from Ireland. Becky made a name for herself as the first Irish-born woman in WWE. Lyra, second Irish-born WWE female superstar. And the question I have for you guys is Becky doing more than just turning heel? Is she going to be the first Paul Heyman girl or gal or woman?
So this could, when Becky was in the press conference after Mania, she stated that she was going to be around for a while. She doesn't come in and do spot gigs and then leave. So that to me means she's at least at minimum around until SummerSlam, but probably more likely here for a calendar year.
Mhm.
And then she'll probably take a little bit more time off, be all that fun stuff, or retire. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows how long we have a lot of these performers for?
Mhm.
I think there's a decent chance. I don't know what they're going to do with it. I think this is one of the things, the Paul Heyman faction, essentially the new Dangerous Alliance, let's just call a spade, is the most intriguing part of Raw, I think, because
Right
we
now,
don't
yeah.
know what happens next. We don't know where they're going to go next. I have noticed that since Triple H has been involved in creative and in control of the book, Seth and Becky tend to be both face or both heel, so that their dichotomy outside of the ring doesn't get affected, because it's weirder kayfabe wise if you have
I
a
bet.
face married to a heel and then they're just posing with their baby all smiles.
Yeah, that would be weird.
Like, Why? Let's say Becky's a face and Seth comes home after being a heel and being a dickbag to people. Why wouldn't the face look at them and go, "Hey, why are you an asshole?"
Yeah.
But if they're both face, both heel, you don't have those interactions. You don't have those questions come up.
Yeah.
So it could be them doing that. I just want to throw that on the table. But I think it'd be more intriguing to put her with Heyman too.
Yeah.
I think there could be a decent dynamic with that, but they could also go a route of another female. I don't know who that would be off the top of my head, but I think a first Paul Heyman girl or woman or however you want to go about it.
Yeah.
I think that's a good call, depending on how they're doing things.
No, I think so too. And for me, I see exactly where you guys are coming from. And Kevin, that's a great insight too, that it helps with the overall just actually them being in a relationship. They don't have that muddied waters with fans being like, hey, so I love that insight. But I like to throw it back to a video game, the newest one, 2K25. Seth and Becky are with it. Like, if you do the story, you have to team up with them. I mean, there's a whole thing with them. And it's kind of interesting to think about if you would take that story that is trying to be told in 25 and make them heels in that story. Does that story get better? And I think it does, just because of the amount of talent that both of them have in their pinky, let alone their entire body. And I think it is appropriate for Becky to get that moniker, that very first Heyman woman, the very first one. So we could finally have that question answered. What would it be like if Heyman had a female wrestler that he was behind? And this would answer it. And I think this would give it the best opportunity to be the best packaged for us as fans, if that makes any sense.
That makes
I felt like
perfect
I
sense.
added way too many words.
No, you're good. That makes
No.
sense at least.
Yeah.
I think the only qualm I would have with it is Paul Heyman tends to manage up and comers to get them going.
Yeah.
And that's why we're getting Braun Breaker in the faction.
Mhm.
I'm not sure who an up and comer would be to put in that position, but if we did an up and comer instead of a Becky Lynch, who is definitely not an up and comer, I think that might be more beneficial long term, unless they're going to have someone like, I don't know if it'll be Lyra, but they have someone else essentially slay Becky Lynch. So
Zoe.
there's a couple of ways to go about it. I don't think it's going to be Zoe.
I want it
Julia?
to be.
I mean,
there's-
Zoe. All right, so Zoe could be the Paul Heyman woman. I could see
Yeah.
that. I think Baszler wouldn't be a bad call either.
Baszler would
exactly.
be,
Hey, that'd be good.
Comer, but she could use a fresh coat of paint.
and it would legitimize
It's
her
just-
in a lot of
it's
fans'
just enough
eyes.
for a Paul
It would.
Heyman. Liv and Raquel need to stay away from it. So not.
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I can't
They
think of
don't need it.
anyone on NXT.
Well, the thing is, Julia and Roxanne Perez are both being rumored to being called up this year.
I don't think Julia would fit in that faction. Roxanne might.
Maybe.
But Roxanne's pretty small too, and Heyman tends to get some muscle behind him, not smaller wrestlers. But again, there aren't that many like jacked women on the roster either.
Well, let's jacked women that would
Right.
definitely benefit from being
Right.
around Paul Heyman.
There's one I can think of that is going to rip my heart out, and it's Ivy. If you could make Ivy interesting with Paul.
You could.
You could. Maybe.
Oh, I hate saying that.
I
Ugh.
think they're committed to that American made stable with
Yeah,
so,
they
yeah.
are. You're
with
right.
Americano. So I
See,
don't think it's going to be Ivy.
That's why he's
No.
here. He pulls
But
me
I-
back in
I
when
don't-
I'm out there.
I don't disagree that she would get legitimized by
She
it.
would.
But
Yeah.
I think you already have if you're thinking about Ivy Nile, I would go the route of Zoe Stark or Shayna Baszler.
Oh,
That's who I would go with instead of Ivy Nile. Ivy Nile's already got a place on the card with the American-made stable, kind of in the Intercontinental title picture. Cool.
I have a feeling they might add 2 women to this stable.
It's
I
possible.
see it.
And if they do, it's going to be Baszler and Stark. Those are the 2 that make the most sense.
I can definitely see that. I theorize the idea that if they add a tag team, whether it be men or women, A-Town Down Under or Baszler and Stark, and
That's my guess actually for the next guy in it. It's not Grayson Waller.
no,
It's Austin Theory.
I've been thinking this in terms of evolution, in that Waller's going to become a wild card in the group. He's going to do things that he didn't talk to Seth or the group or Seth or Paul about. They're getting pissed off. They tell Theory, listen, you can stay in the group, but Waller's got to go. Theory makes his choice. He stabs Waller in the back, sacrifices him for his spot. And now we can see if Waller can achieve the potential that WWE has believed he's had all this time.
I think Waller can be a face too. I think he has
so
the
too.
charisma.
I think he absolutely has the charisma.
But Austin Theory has always been best as a shit heel. And he's not getting that level of exposure in A-Town Down Under right now.
No.
He's just not. He's being trusted with all the very like journeyman trustworthy spots. And what I mean by that is a celebrity comes in, give him let the celebrity choke slam Austin Theory. Why? Because Austin Theory can take anything from anybody. That's his role right now, is bump guy. Let's take him out of that role because he's earned it by giving you all that fucking money from all the celebrity appearances.
No, you're 100 on that one. The interaction he had with Burt Kreischer was fantastic.
I'm not saying they're not entertaining. He's doing a hell of a job doing it.
Yeah.
And he's making a pretty penny, probably.
But I get what you're saying because he's proven he can do it.
Yeah.
It's time to move him on to
I think I'm done with the notion of punishing Theory for that failed John Cena feud. I'm done with that notion. Let's give him another shot.
Yeah, I'm there with you. And I like where you guys are going with this. Again, though, just like a Monday night window liquor fashion, we got to put a pin in that because we got to get to Kevin's question and entertainment for the class, as he does every Monday here at 7 p.m. on the Monday preview show, brought to you by In Your House and the Window Liquor. So, Kevin, teach us, guide us.
Well, I don't have some big lesson. Maybe it'll come into that. Who knows?
Who knows?
But when I'm looking at this, other than the Paul Heyman faction, the most curious I was out of this show that we had, and it was a weird way to do it, in my opinion, but it got the point across. Miro's return, or Rusev, formerly known as Miro. He's back. Sans Lana. Looks like he's $1 million. He looks like he dropped weight. He looks like he's jacked to the gills. He's looking good. It's evident to me that they have plans for him because they literally threw him out there to murder an entire tag team.
Yeah.
Yep.
And New Day got out of there. I was actually half expecting them to just eat a couple hits and then run. But man, they brought him in and he's a monster again already. I don't know who he feuds with first, though.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people on the card. I don't know if I assume he's going to be heel based on the interactions with the people. Because he beat up faces. So that's always my assumption. But they could do babyface. It's possible. I think Rusev's always been stronger as a heel. So that leaves us feuding with baby faces. Let's assume that. What baby faces can we put Miro with or Rusev with that don't have something else going on? Because like my first thought process would be AJ to follow up more story with him probably taking another L. But I think he's stuck with Cross. So I don't know exactly where they're going to go with that. or if they're going to build up to a cross match by him taking more L's into it.
That's kind of where I'm thinking they're leading in with it. That he's going to take some more L's, and then ultimately Cross is going to do his where he's just basically
Houdini magic that turns him
Yeah.
into a heel, essentially.
exactly,
Yeah.
and then it gets to a point to where AJ has to face him and prove himself. When I think Cross, and I know I've been very skeptical of Cross this past year, but again, like I said a couple weeks ago, he is proving to me that there's another level to him, and he was being hindered in the group he was aligned with, and now that he has free reign and the focus is on him as opposed to the group, I'm finding him intriguing. I enjoy what he's doing and I like it. Grun, where are you at with carrying Cross
Or Rusev.
or
Oh,
Rusev?
he threw me off there.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, no, it's all right. So what I am thinking is like, because I am thinking like, who does Rusev feud with? Like, Otis seems to be the introductory feud. That's probably not going to last too long. And I think it's a good way to reintroduce him to fans that may have forgotten about him and to fans that have never heard of him. But afterwards, AJ does seem like a good pick because while I'm sure he and Penta in WWE could have a fantastic feud, it is too early for either of them to take that kind of a loss. Like I because like you would need him to feud with people that are important enough to be mid card and potentially main eventers, but that still needs some work and that can afford to eat some L's. And right now, I'm not thinking of any names. You don't want if you want him to beat Dominic for the IC title eventually. I don't think that's a bad move. I just think that's maybe that's Saudi Arabia. Maybe that's SummerSlam.
Yeah, that's a
Right.
little further down the road.
Yeah.
I think that's further down the road.
Yeah, I like the AJ one. I really do because that helps build into the carrying Cross, and like we discussed. And Grund, for me though, if you're going to put him with Otis, I think what he did to all of them was enough that he should do with that group. Now, if they build it to where Otis needs some revenge and they do a match, I think if you put him up against Rusev, this is the point that they completely demolish the entire group then. Because how many
I think Judgment Day has to cost Dom that title one way or another. I think that's the way that it's going. You could use Rusev as a catalyst to get it off of Dom. It's possible. But I think Judgment Day has to implode when he loses that title. Like Finn Balor has to cost him.
We got Lou chiming in.
I don't know, because Gunther and him are going to be heels, I think. So I don't think it's going to end up being Gunther.
Oh, he figured it out after he typed it and sent it out.
But someone that it could be, because he didn't have a match at Mania, is Sheamus. Sheamus would be a good first feud.
I like that. I like to,
That'd be good.
Yeah, that would be a nice, hard-hitting, good feud. Good way to introduce Rusev back to everybody and assert some type of still legitimizing Sheamus in his career. Not saying that anything is wrong with what Sheamus is doing. I've grown to really like Sheamus over the past couple of years and what he does in the ring. But yeah, that would be a really cool one. I would like that. I would accept that one.
If you set it up well enough, Rusev could challenge for the title against Jay and not be hurt with a loss too. You just got to set Rusev up real nice prior to it.
We have Devontae, and I hope I said that right. I think it's already imploded with Dom's win and JD coming back. At least Finn gets kicked out.
I think so. My theory is that it's going to split in twain, And by that, I mean there's going to be some of the group goes with Dom, some of the group goes with Finn. And I think Liv and Raquel, obviously, with Dom, unless we're going to do some kind of wild shit.
Well, this could be the turn that Liv does.
You're not wrong. I think Finn and JD end up together because I think Finn and JD end up. I don't know how much longer Finn has in his career. He's been going for a long time, and some of that was in New Japan, which means he got beat up.
Yup.
And that's always a ticking time bomb. I think they're going to end up as a tag team. And I think that's a decent role so that Finn can help catapult JD. I think that would be the goal. I think Finn's closer to his give back phase than he is his taking phase. Or like push up phase. Not to say that he can't perform at that level, because Finn Balor is probably one of the best workers they have on WWE. He can do pretty much anything they ask of him.
Yeah.
Other than be tall.
Yeah.
So, and that's a guy that you want around for as long as he wants to be there.
Very
so
true.
Finn's there's a joke name for him going around called Pin Balor because he always eats the pin. And I hear that said, and in my head I'm like, okay, so he's the guy that they trust so that other people can get over. That's what that means.
Yeah.
And he does it every single time. So realistically, I think they end up as a tag team, and I think Dom and them go off. I don't know where Carlito ends up.
Hey, wherever he is, it'll be cool.
It'll be real cool, brother.
It'll be real cool. He's gonna be carrying Raquel's bags. That's what
He
gonna
might be.
doing.
Who knows?
And
You
I
get
think
young,
he'll
you
love
get young boy
everybody
by
over.
Raquel.
I love Kevin. Devontae's chiming in. Just found you all.
Hell yeah.
Love this. Well, thank you. Like and subscribe,
you.
and make sure to click that notification bell so you
Man,
know
we're
when we
here
come
every
on.
Monday.
Because this channel, let me tell you, we have shows all throughout the week that you can catch. And if you like what you got here, Wednesday, the Raw deal with House and O'Neill fact checks the shit out of us. So go there, check out our boss.
When he says fact check, he means, oh God, how much have we gotten wrong? Oh God.
yeah.
Exactly.
You know, they're really nice about it.
We
and they
leave the
love-
house on fire and run, and they come on and put it out.
Very true. Very true. I like that analogy. Yeah, but check us out. We got so many shows throughout the week. You'll catch definitely some content creators that you might really enjoy what they have to say. I'm enjoying where we're at with this. Rusev is a mountain of a man, and he has just proven that he's in his second gear, third gear, whatever it is. And I don't think he's missed a beat. Rusev looks fantastic. He came in, did exactly what he used to do. The fans loved it. They ate it up. And honestly, I'm really wanting this AJ. What you brought up, Kevin, that's where I want to go with that. I think Rusev AJ will be a fun thing, and it might reignite a little bit of AJ Styles' fire. You know, I'm not saying that any bit of his fire's out, but I can only assume that the older you get in this industry, sometimes the lights may not be as bright as they used to be.
I would say
But-
that's probably accurate. That happens to me from time to time. Not all the time, but time to time.
Yeah.
And he's been on big stage after big stage after big stage. So, I mean, what left is there to do for AJ? At this point, he's just running up Father Time's score.
Yeah.
So, to me, AJ's in a phase of his career where he's giving back because I think he's actually publicly stated he's got 2 to 3 years. Like, whenever this contract ends, like, he's peacing.
Yep.
Which
I think he should. He's ready.
Oh yeah.
I think, and if he wants to go spend time with his family, awesome. If he wants to take an agent role or something, I think that would help a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
But that's up to him. That's his personal decision. That's whatever.
Yeah.
Either way, if we've only got 2-3 years of AJ Styles left, I think he's in a give back phase right now, and then he's going to be in a last run phase next year.
Yeah. Okay.
where
Yeah, and
he
I
goes
think
after maybe win. I bet they give him one more world title before he
Oh,
pieces out.
that would be
One more.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I love it.
He's too big of a legend in the industry, let alone
Yeah.
WWE.
Oh,
Exactly. And like I've always said with AJ, I wish we could have got him 5 years earlier.
Yeah.
You know, but I loved what he did with TNA. I loved what he did overseas. Anything AJ was doing back then. I mean, he was the reason I got my very first TNA pay-per-view. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
this dude is phenomenal. I need to watch him. And I've never been disappointed with AJ.
Mine was I got the first TNA pay-per-view because of Saban, because he's from my hometown. When I was younger.
No, I remember that. That was in my very first apartment. I was working a swing shift, and it was my very first vacation day, and I was like, I have to watch this pay-per-view. And they're like, "You're taking a vacation day for a pay-per-view? Are you going?" I was like, "No,
Yes,
I'm gonna
I
watch it at home." That was
yeah.
definitely great, and definitely looking forward to it, as we always do. We're gonna have to put a pin in that Rusev conversation because, well, we're gonna get back to it. Speaking of getting back to it, let's do a real quick discussion here, Grun. Um, I know that we've had opportunities taken away from us,
Mhm.
not at our hands. You know,
No.
we are victims of circumstances
Yes, we
in
were.
this BCW world that Lou has created. But I'm sanctioned for my first match. First match called for the Buddies Mania. Me and M West are going against each other in a feud that I have been calculating. I've been just playing Puppet Master in this one, and M West has just been dancing along on his strings, doing everything I'm asking him to. But fans, we want you to check out the Lou and BCW. It's on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. on the Lou with the Buddies Network. And let me tell you something. Outside of what we do here at IYH, we got some content creating friends, some companions, some, well, I was going to say some Brokeback Mountain friends, but you know, Lou and DJ Colby got that covered down there in Atlanta, those weirdos, but we love them all the same. And we want you to go out there and check them out because the Lou is a content creator here on Twitch. That is fantastic. And you need to be a part of what he is creating. And he's already in the chat going weird. All right. So Grun, let me ask you, and Kevin, you could chime in on this because you know the type of content that he's creating over there.
Yeah.
He took
I popped
2K.
in.
Yeah, he took 2K. He's made a whole fed, an e-fed. Grun, let the fans know actually how much fun you're actually having creating, and let them know how to get kind of going over there towards Lou's channel and checking this monstrosity out.
Well, you know what, guys? This is a lot of fun because this is not something that requires knowing about pro wrestling.
Nope.
It is fun because it was just made out of somebody that wanted to do their own little promotion in a WWE game. And you know what? He had a bunch of buddies that were interested, because they knew that this was just going to be something fun, something enjoyable. So they get in chat, they say stuff like, "Oh, your mom sucks. Oh, no, you suck. Oh, you suck. You suck. You suck." So just throwing hate at each other. Then all of a sudden, the whole chat's getting into it. When the bell rings, everyone's spreading on it. Oh, this person's going to win. No, that person's going to win. It is just simple fun. It is enjoyable. Some of us really get into it and put in some promos, maybe make some challenges. But you gotta go to twitch.tv/Lou, the Lou _ in order to find this channel. It's every Wednesday, most Wednesdays. He's got a family that he's got to take care of, he's got to look after. Okay, so don't be upset when he's got to take some time off and take care of the family.
Yeah, and
Um,
join his Discord too, because you'll get all that information when he does have to do family things. Yes, he's got kids. He's out there doing his thing. You got a kid, buddy. Let's keep it at that.
Yeah.
But it is a fantastic community over there. That's how me and Grun met each other through Lou. And Lou honestly hit me up and he's like, "You got to do something with Grun." And me and Grun, you know, we definitely got a connection, a friendship through this, which brought us Kevin. But
What's up?
I we love this e-fed that's being created, and if anybody tuned in Saturday, you could understand why, because it was one of the most fun episodes that he's ever done. Uh, I paid Joseph to take him to, yeah, maybe we
Damn.
did. But we want more people out there doing creative things with us, and really putting in forth an effort. It's a fun time, it's a good time, and it's exactly what we create here at IYH. And speaking of that, guys, are there any final thoughts? Because we are officially 9 minutes outside of Monday Night Raw going live on Netflix. Final thoughts, and give the fans where they can find you.
One final thought, if you don't mind, and is
Oh, I
that
mind.
oh, you do?
Me too.
Damn. Okay. Well,
Go on.
Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you anyways, because I think Seth Rollins here is in the right. I think Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman are the saviors of the WWE, because Roman Reigns, he's been egotistical this entire time. CM Punk has been egotistical this entire time. Seth Rollins is the only one talking about preserving WWE. The rest of them, they're just mad because Seth Rollins is a dick sometimes. That's their problem.
What's funny is I don't actually disagree with this too much in storyline wise. If you really think about it. All right, so here's how I would pitch it. I don't remember if I pitched it this way last week, but if I had a friend and another friend and they made me choose sides, I would pick neither of those friends.
I like it.
You
Yeah, I
had
like it.
Punk, you had Roman, and they said, pick me, pick me. You know what Paul Heyman said? He said, fuck your ultimatums. And he went with somebody else.
I like it.
What kind of friend does that to a friend? That's not a
real
friend.
That's not a friend. You don't make friends choose.
No,
That's not how this works.
no,
I
it's
don't
not.
disagree. I also, final thought for me as well. I just saw that it's Rhea Ripley versus Roxanne Perez tonight. And I think that's going to be a really good match. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
That should be
Rhea knows how to base for smaller girls. So,
Oh, yeah.
man, it's going to be good shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's going to be a well executed match. And we're gonna see both highlighted in the best way. Roxanne's gonna look phenomenal if she's going up against Rhea tonight. Definitely something to catch out there. Like we said to you punks, definitely check out Raw tonight, and then join back up with us next Monday, and you might know a little more of what we're talking about when it comes to this stuff. All right, so Grun, let them know where they can find those blue eyes of villainous.
You can find me at twitch.tv/Grunmeister. Sir, I stream every Friday. This week it's going to be a Thursday night around 7 p.m. Eastern. We're figuring things out. It's out for this week's schedule, but Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern, 9 times out of 10, I talk SmackDown and WWE.
Beautiful, beautiful. Kevin, we know you got chaos. Tell them where they can sample a little bit of it.
You can find me at Kevin Calloway on Facebook, Calloway Kevin on Instagram. This weekend, I will be at Lucha Boom on Friday. Big show there. We got Danhausen coming in. He's facing Zico. Yeah, I love Danhausen. He's a good dude.
Oh man,
that guy needs to be WWE bound 1,000%. I'm tired of him not being in
You know
WWE.
what? You know when he's gonna have a spot, Grun?
When his contract ends?
Nope. When R-Truth retires.
Damn.
yeah.
I
makes
want
so much
R-Truth.
sense.
That makes sense, but I want R-Truth to be the reason.
They will probably have like a year of overlap. That's my guess.
Yeah.
But I think Danhausen is good enough to fill that role of that particular character, and it would
yeah.
work well. But anyway, Lucha Boom Masonic Temple Friday, May 2nd. Lucha Boom Lansing Shuffle in Lansing, Michigan, May 3rd. Sanctuary Fight Club May 4th. At
Man,
Sanctuary in Hamtramck. It's going to be a long, fulfilling, chaotic weekend. It's a reunion weekend for me and my tag partner. We don't get to do a lot of tag team stuff anymore. We're tagging all weekend.
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome, Kevin. It sounds like you're gonna have a blast this weekend.
Should be good.
If you get a moment with Danhausen, just tell him this guy absolutely adores the hell out
I
of
rode
him.
in a car with him, so I actually think he knows. He remembers me.
Oh man, that is awesome. Yeah, he's somebody that I watch everything of his, and
Yeah.
he's so awesome. He gets
Same.
it.
He's a
He
good dude.
totally gets it. And he loves The Simpsons, and you can't hate anybody. who
You
loves The
can't hate
Simpsons.
someone
No.
who loves The Simpsons.
That's true. Fans, friends, chaos, anybody who likes Grun, I'm here. It's me, the voice. And if you want to catch more of me, it's here every Monday, 7 p.m. with my friends in wrestling. You got Kevin Calloway, the Chaos Goblin, and Grun Meister, the blue-eyed villain. And we talk Monday Night Raw. 3 subjects. We talk to you. I bring you one. My co-hosts bring you the others. And we talk wrestling, just like we loved in the chat today. It was fantastic and booming. So keep coming back every Monday for that. That is 7 p.m., an hour before Raw. We get you ready for Monday Night Raw on Netflix. Outside of that, it's a Thursday night extremeness. Yes, there's extremeness on Thursdays, and it's courtesy of me and House. So come join us on IYH ECW Watch Along, where we watch ECW. This week, we will be watching Born to be Wired. Yes, last week we were supposed to watch it, but things happen. We're adults. We don't get really paid for this. So, we got things outside of here. But we are going into that match. And I'm telling you right now, if you've never seen that match, you're about ready to be shocked, awed, and there's so many things that are going to happen in this match. Come be with me in house and watch it and experience it for the first time, or just rewatch it with us. But you will have fun. That is 5 p.m. on Thursdays. Outside of that, it's a Sunday house party where anybody in the household who's around, we go and we talk wrestling. It's at usually 12 afternoon, on a Sunday, where me, House, Jones, Grun, anybody else who wants to join us, we jump on and we talk the last week of wrestling that happened. Any big highlights out there, we cover it. Any talks about little things, we cover it. Any squirrel fights, Grun covers it. So come join us on a Sunday house party and you'll love it. Be a part of us, be a part of the household, be a part of the chat. Click like, subscribe to everything we do, because like I said, when we were talking to Punks, we have so much on this network. There is so much, and there's so much more to come. The Raw deal with House and O'Neill, that's on Wednesdays, and that is definitely a show that is picking up momentum. I did an AI search of all the content here in the IYH, and it did hit on some things with that show. So that is definitely a show to go and check out, because you have Annie O'Neill, who knows Kevin. They hang out, and you have Alec on House, our boss, and they really go into a more in-depth on Monday Night Raw and NXT. I think they cover that pretty well too. So fans, friends, IYH people, thank you for being a part of what we do here, and we will catch you on the next one. Check you later.
Shadows creep in the spotlight's glow. Turning cold, now it's time to throw. Chains on my neck, but I'm losing the brain. Ghosts of smoke twist dissolving my pain. End of the show, let the chaos unfold. Heart blacker than the night, ice cold. Crowd screaming but silent.